Welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast. Here is Munir El Azouzi from easymedicaldevice.com, and today we'll do the March 2025 review. So let's go. But before to start, so let's have a word from our sponsor. So our sponsor is Medboard. So who is Medboard?
Medboard, the regulatory research and intelligence platform, is focused on solving the problem with increasing news and data and new requirements as regulatory intelligence, post-market surveillance, clinical literature review, and many more. We are making trusted medtech information and data more accessible, creating the largest information portal search and the best tools for review, intelligence, and portfolio management. We are already changing people's lives like you by reducing tedious manual and repetitive work or saving much time. Contact us at medboard.com to learn more about us and do a free trial.
Okay, first topic of the day is about the I cannot pronounce it. It's health data, the data legislation, so health data legislation mainly that was just published. And mainly the objective here is to target people that are managing patient data, information about patients, etc. So there is a new legislation. So if you are a manufacturer that is planning to manage patient data or collect patient data or use patient data, etc. So this is maybe something that you have to look at. What they are saying is that this will mainly impact manufacturers that are also collecting those data, because they will have maybe also the obligation to send, I don't know if it's sell, but to send those data mainly for some research purpose or some policy making that are issued. So you have then mainly to provide some access to those information. So for anybody that is, for example, managing electronic health records, EHR, so this is mainly something where they will have to follow this kind of rule. There is also, so on the show notes there will be the legislation itself plus the FAQ, mainly providing more data about this legislation. I will try. I'm not promising. I will try to get somebody on the podcast to discuss about that, so that we have maybe more information about that, and also the impact on medical device manufacturers. This is mainly the objective. What is the impact on manufacturers, so that they are really always up to date. Next, we have the proposal for change of the E-IFU legislation. So mainly the E-IFU legislation is the legislation that says that you can use electronic instruction for use for your products in certain conditions. There are a lot of conditions that you have to have a secured website, that you promise that it will be always accessible, etc., that you keep the versioning, that you have a risk management file, you have etc., etc. And there was also a condition that it should be used only on 3 types or 4 types of devices, I can't remember, like implants and their accessories, device that contains like a software, device that contains a built-in electronic screen, for example, where we can see directly on the screen. So those are like the products, but they want to extend that now also to any device that is used by a professional healthcare provider. So mainly if your device, for example, is for use or implantation by a surgeon, so then it can be using just the electronic instruction for use. But if it is by a layman person in a pharmacy, for example, in a store, a retail store, so mainly this should be containing the E-IFU, so the instruction for use, so the paper version of the instruction for use. So this is mainly what's providing. So what I wanted to say is mainly that I looked at mainly the proposal page. So you have to answer before the 21st of March 2025. And what is also interesting is to look the comments of every people. So, and you have some positive comments like, oh, it's great, thanks for doing that. And you have also some comments where they ask for more. environmental comments, like you can be more more things, and some comments that asks for some doubts. They have some doubts about this new proposal or whatever. So it's also interesting to just go and check what the others are doing. I think there was some 60 comments or feedback provided. So you can still provide your own feedback. So don't hesitate to go to read and to check if this is working for you. If you are for the E-IFU, so go and mention that you are for it and explain mainly what is good or maybe that has to be improved on this proposal. If you are against it, so explain also why. So then we'll see who will be winning from this these two teams. So yeah, so we'll tell you Easy Medical Device. We are preparing a platform specifically for E-IFU. The platform will be for manufacturers or companies that are maybe not having all the infrastructure to manage E-IFU. So we are creating our platform that is mainly for you, which mainly will be storing your E-IFU. We'll create some QR code that you can place on the product so that when it's scanned, it's directly opening the E-IFU. Or mainly providing a place where you can store your E-IFU. Plus, you can also store the different versions, so you can manage directly inside the platform, versioning, etc. So this is coming. I mean, each time I say it's coming, yeah, but soon. When there is a development or software development, it's always taking a bit of time. So, but it's coming. So it's good that we have this information because, yeah, it's really something that we are working on since now many years, and we hope to finalize that by the next month, I hope. But yeah, we have still always some developments to finish. But yeah, if you are really interested by E-IFU, this is the place where you mainly want to go. The 14th notified body has been issued for IVDR, which is a Spanish notified body, so Centro Nacional de Certificación de Productos Sanitarios. So apparently, from what I looked at it looks like a governmental agency that was now issued as notified body for it, so I think. But it's the only notified body for IVD in Spain. I suppose I'm looking now at France. Do we have also an IVD? I know you have GMED and AFNOR, but yeah, I don't know. But mainly, yeah. So this is also something that is always important for IVD because I remind you, IVD will have more and more products to manage, so we need more and more notified bodies. So I don't know if 14 would be sufficient, but yeah, as always, it's not the number of notified bodies that is important, it's the number of resources that the notified body has that is really important. Because yeah, if each notified body has one auditor only, it means 14 auditors, which is not too much. But mainly, it's really important to go also and check that. And it's also important, if you are a product that is under IVD, there is this transition period that is coming by 2025, so you have really also to look at those notified bodies and discuss with them and have also some agreements signed, because yeah, otherwise it's going to be a problem. Okay, so there is an article in the EU MDR, which is Article 59, which authorize products that are not CE marked to be placed on the market. So how to do that? So mainly you have to ask authorization to the member state. So France has issued a platform or website, a form, a simplified form, to ask authorization to then be able to sell your device on the market, even if it didn't get the CE marking. Yeah, just for precision, it's devices that are really have a clinical advantage or are really needed for the country, or that when, for example, when there was a COVID, like it's needed to have a lot of device that were maybe not certified, but yeah, there was more danger than the risk of the device itself. So mainly this is mainly the advantage. The point here is that if you want to do that, you want to go to each country one by one. So here it is for France. I suppose any country will have their own rules on how to contact them, but there is no one portal that is then you select all the countries and then you can submit that. No, you have to go to each country and then you have to submit that. So France has issued this simplified form. I never filled those forms, so I don't know if it was more simplified than before, but mainly, yeah. So this is something that you can try. I always say try. I mean, we never know, but try, and maybe they will authorize you to place your device on the market. You can also try under conditions, say yeah, you will place that on the market, but it's also to collect maybe data that will be used for your certification, etc. So be creative and try to ask for that. Okay, the EMA is issuing a portal for scientific advice. So mainly the EMA is in charge of expert panels for medical devices, and there was now also a possibility or an option or a service that you can contact those expert panel against a fee, normally against a fee, but for the moment it's without a fee, so it's free of charge. You can contact the expert panel so that you can get an advice related to your clinical project or clinical study, or how you will be maybe managing that, all the structure, the strategy, etc. So they are opening this actually only for high-risk devices, so class 3 and class 2B, that are intended to administer or remove medicines. So you can then go for, on the show notes there will be the full process. So you can then go there and you can ask for a scientific advice from the EMA without paying anything for the moment. Because it says no fee in 2025. So I don't know if it's like only 2025 and then they will open for fee. But here I think it's more a pilot or something that is starting. Maybe they will open that for more later, but for the moment they are starting to look at this one. So yeah, if you are class 3 or class 2B device with that intend to administer or remove medicines, then please use that. It looks like the pre-sub that is used by the FDA. So yeah, you can go and ask your questions and see mainly if this can help you. So IGJ, I should have taken the name of this thing because it's a Dutch name, so I should have taken the name, but I don't know. So it's a young. Let me open it correctly now because how they call it, young. Health and Young Care Inspectorate, IGG. Okay, so it's a Dutch thing. So we had already talked about them previously when they have maybe made a report on post-marketing surveillance, if I remember. Now they are making alert or something to be careful of, to say yes, we have actually a lot of AI. We have the traditional AI, which is more trying to find a pattern, like when you are a scanner and scan and you try to find if there is an issue there. And you have now generative AI, where you ask a question and they generate picture, generate text, generate messages, generate things. So they are saying mainly that we have to really be careful on the generative AI. Some of them can become a medical device itself, so mainly you have then to go through a lot of things. You have also to be careful of the AI Act, that is also prohibiting some AI. And also the thing is, we don't know what is the effect, the long-term effect of using those kind of things. So mainly this is also a thing that is really important. So if you are developing or using or having already a generative AI within your products, then I really advise you to go there just to read. I'm not saying that you should stop what you are doing. Just read, just to see what are the danger, and maybe to just look at that and verify if you can avoid that or mitigate the risks that are mentioned on this report. Because I think their reports are always good. They are really always great. So I'm really happy for that. So it's in Dutch. I don't know if you can. Let me check if you can. I changed the language with my browser, but I don't know here if there is a button for English. No, there is no English, only Dutch. Okay, there is only Dutch. So if your browser, I use Chrome, so if your browser can change the language, and you change the language and you can read everything. But yeah, I think it can be a good element to be inspired in case you are doing GenAI. You can also ask your GenAI or ChatGPT or whatever to read that for you, to tell you what are the risks, how to mitigate that, etc. So it will be funny that a generative AI will comment on a generative AI article. So yeah, just to look at that. And to continue on AI, we have also an article from the European Commission about what is an AI system. So it's a guide that is helping you to define what is an AI system. This is mainly to guide you and it's not binding, so it will evolve maybe, so it's something that is just to help you. So remember also that since February 2nd, some rules of the AI Act have been applied, like the AI system definition, the AI literacy, but also the prohibited AI that you should not do or should not use. So be careful of when you use AI, that AI Act has now been in place, and we'll talk a bit later about that because we have also a webinar about that. But yeah, be careful that AI Act is something that is also to be considered now, even for your medical devices. Okay, we have now a good news. I mean, a good news because I'm working with some customers, and to be honest, it's a nightmare. Because we have some customer that comes and say, oh, I want to make a study, a clinical study or performance study for IVD, mainly one in Germany, one in Spain, one in France, one in etc. etc. So then it's like to open multiple centers for doing this kind of thing. But the problem is when you have to go to each country one by one to do this application for the study in each country, which is normal because maybe each country has to say, yes, we authorize you to do that in my country, and what you are planning to do looks fine. So mainly this is that. But the problem is to go to every country to do things, and sometimes the countries don't have the same administrative level. Some say, oh, it's with the pharmaceutical department also, or no, we have a separate department for pharmaceutical, or etc. It's another department that has nothing to do with pharmaceutical or medical devices. So yeah, it's a bit of a problem. Now they created a pilot for a clinical investigation and performance study, which apparently not all member states, but some member states will apply, which says that you can apply to this pilot or this port. I don't know if it will be a portal or what it will be exactly, but you will apply to this and you select which member state you want to go for it, and all member states at once will receive everything. So it means that you don't have to go one by one and pick one by one and do it one by one. So mainly the objective here is to get a unified engagement for everybody, to have more transparency and harmonization, to have a simplified request for information, to have consistency also over all the member states. Also, when there is a document management, it will be more efficient because you send it once, only not 10 times. There will be also simplified management in case of modification, for example, of some documents. But yeah, I mean, it would be great to have that because it will be faster for everybody, for us as consultants, for the manufacturers that will be happy because it's easy, etc. So yeah, so the idea here is to make it faster, no burden related to documentation, to administration, etc. I mean, a dream. But it's a pilot. So actually, as I've said, it means that not all member states are inside. So if your company or your company has selected some member states that are not inside, then maybe it will be a problem. But yeah, let's start somewhere, if I can say. But I hope it's also good news for you, because if you are in the situation I was with some customers, yes, it's really a nightmare. So yeah, thank you, the European Commission, for this. Okay, now let's talk about Switzerland. So Swissmedic has provided a report related to post-marketing surveillance. So they have audited 30 legacy devices. So I don't know if it's the same company or multiple companies, but 30 devices, medical devices, legacy medical devices. And they find out of the 30 devices, 20 of them were non-conform, so 75 or 80%. They were non-conform at all, which is huge. There was 85 non-conformities. Mainly it's really the big problem here. So there was 3 things that they looked at: the PMS, post-marketing surveillance procedure or whatever, the post-marketing surveillance plan, and the safety report, so the final report. I mean, they looked at many things, but this is the 3 that really are on top. The major of issues they find are mainly on the safety report. The issues that they find is, for example, that 8 cases, the safety report is not following at all the PMS plan. So it was like, what? I mean, you create a PMS plan to then follow it, to then create the safety report. So now they create the safety report, but has nothing to do with the PMS plan. And this is something that I'm not sure how it looks like, but yeah, we'll really be happy to look at that. But yeah, this is many issues. So post-marketing surveillance, and it's also something that, as I've said, we talked about previously with the IGJ from Netherlands, because they also created this kind of of report. But yeah, apparently there are still some issues on the market about that. We should communicate more about post-marketing surveillance. If you need help to create a post-marketing surveillance, contact us at Easy Medical Device. We will be happy to help you. And as soon as we will do it once, you can copy paste to redo the next one and the next one and next one, or the methodology, etc. Or if you want us to do it, we can do it. It's not a problem at all. So tell us and we can help you. But yeah, please, let's try to follow what is mainly mentioned on the regulations or the standards, because there are also some standards for PMS, so you can use them. So it's really really easy. UK now. So UK are updating or improving their page on registration of medical device in the UK. They are including more information now on IVD. IVD mainly for in vitro diagnostic, which means that with UK, actually the law that is followed by UK is the 9879 EC. Is that the number? I can't remember. I forgot the number now. Which is the IVDD legislation. But if you are in Europe, they are now accepting also CE marking under IVDD with an extension. You remember that the EU has extended now the IVDD timeline, so they are taking that into account. So then they are also accepting that your products are extended, and then you can receive the letter of extension, etc., etc., which is mainly fine. So this is something that is important to understand. You can register directly to the UK with a UK CE mark, not CE mark, so UK CE mark under IVDD. And you can also register in the UK with CE marking, but if it's IVDD and the date of IVDD passed, you still have to have this letter of extension from a notified body showing that you are still CE marked. So it's two different pathways, but you have to understand those pathways. So yeah. But mainly they updated their page, so you can go on the show notes. I place the link and you can just check that. With the two links, there is a link for the page of market registration of medical devices in the UK market, and the page specifically for the IVDD extension, so that they are explaining that to you. Okay, next one, also for extension, but this time for class reusable surgical instruments, so class 1R reusable surgical instruments. So you know that reusable surgical instruments were class 1 under EU MDD, and now they will become class 1R during EU MDR. And as we are in the middle, so it's a transition, then actually those products can still go on the market as class 1, not class 1R, but class 1 until the 31st of December 2028 maximum. So then this is also taken into account by the UK. So they are accepting that, and anyway the UK accepts CE marking until the 30th of June 2030. Oof, a lot of dates. So, but yeah, it's mainly something that we have really to look at, because you have still a lot of connection between UK and Europe, even if there was Brexit. So you have to understand what are the rules and what is accepted or not by UK. But UK is really nice because they are really accepting all the things that Europe is doing. So then they are not making it complicated. So thanks to the UK. Okay, we talked about that earlier. There is a webinar on the 28th of March, AI in healthcare. So it's mainly a European Commission webinar, which is talking mainly about AI. They will talk about AI Act and medical device regulation also together. They will really mention everything for Europe in terms of artificial intelligence in the healthcare industry. So 28th of March, there is the link on the show notes. Go and check. If you are in this industry, you really need to follow what is provided by the European Commission, because this may impact you at any time. So it's something that you should know, and maybe they will mention something that will arrive in the future. So it's really important that you check that. So don't hesitate to put that in your calendars and then to participate to it. Okay, there are also some newsletters that want you to follow. So the first newsletter is the Easy Medical Device newsletter. So we created the newsletter. It's not me, it's the team. So because it's really taking a lot of time, so I'm really putting the credit only on them because they are really great. So the team creates every week a newsletter with some items, some topics, and provide a lot of information there. some information that we don't have also on the podcast or something. You have the mention of the podcast inside, but some information outside of the podcast, the publication that we are doing all over the week, etc. So it's really something that is rich of information. So don't hesitate to also to go on the show notes. I put the last newsletter, but you can also subscribe to it, and then you will receive directly the notification when the new one will be issued. It's issued every Sunday because we think maybe Sunday is the time where everybody is relaxed and can then read that without any pressure. So it's mainly something that is really important to stay up to date. So let us know if there is also some information that you want to see on those weekly newsletters. So we are not spamming your mailbox. I'm not spamming your mail with a lot of emails. So here all the information will be there inside directly. The other newsletter is the MedTech Leading Voice newsletter. It's really a great newsletter because it's also containing a lot of posts that are created all over the week by a lot of the MedTech leading voices, mainly where we are seeing a lot of people that are really sharing a lot of content, and really all this is voluntary. Those people are really sharing a lot of data, a lot of information, a lot of things, so it's really great. So thanks also for MedTech Leading Voice to also show mainly what others are doing. So also please subscribe to this newsletter. I receive it and I read it also, so don't hesitate to go and to read that. Okay, we are now going to the rest of the world. So first, Australia, the same as France, as we talked before with France. They created a guide or a page for asking consent if the product is not compliant to the essential principles. So essential principles is the GSPR for us, or the essential requirements for us. So mainly if your products are not compliant to the TGA, which is Australia regulation, you can still ask consent to sell this device in Australia. So it's the same as what we talked before with France, like asking consent even if it's not CE marked. So here they created also a website where they are sharing a lot of information. They are also talking about EU because your products is maybe already sold in Australia under EU MDD, but as you haven't obtained the MDR, you are maybe having a gap here. So you can also use that to maybe ask for continuing to sell your device under in TGA, even if you have not for the moment the MDR. So it's how I interpreted that, but you can check mainly if it's also how you understand it. So mainly this is something that will be available, and there is also a section that is saying that TGA can also audit you to verify that everything is fine regarding this product that is not compliant to their registration, their regulation, their requirements. So yeah, it's also something that can happen. Okay, now South Africa, they are updating their classification rules. I haven't digged too much on it, but I just looked at what are the updates, and the updates are in rule 6, 7, 8, and some removals of some sections. So when I read that, I was thinking to myself, imagine now that you are using this classification since many years, if I can say, and suddenly somebody comes and updates the rules or removes some rules or this or that. Imagine you do that in Europe. Imagine you go to Annex 8 now of MDR and you say, oh, let's change this rule now and let's change this thing, which maybe can impact your product. So I don't know exactly how they have done that and how they are really managing that. But yeah, updating rules is really a big thing. So if you are a medical device manufacturer that is selling in South Africa, please check that, because maybe your product has changed rule or is not now anymore included inside the rule. So, and specifically if it's rule 6, 7, and 8, because those are the main ones that have been updated there. So yeah, so as I said, I'm a bit suspicious about this kind of methodology, but yeah. I mean, I know that the US, they are changing also, because you can go from class 2 to class 1 or class 3 to class 2, etc. But there is a product code. So it means that you are linked to this product code. So you don't change your product code, you just change the classification of the product code. So you still are under the same kind of category for the products. But here, I'm not sure exactly how it's working. So be careful, just check. I just warn you that this happens, so please go and check that. Next one. So we have now application to Canada. So there is a draft guidance mainly issued for the application of your medical devices to Canada. It's apparently an update. because the lastly it was updated in April 2020, and now in March 2020 there is a draft, so there was some changes. I look, there are multiple chapters that were updated also, but I don't know exactly what is the big impact of that. It's still in a draft version, but if you are, as I said, selling in Canada, it's good to have a view of what is coming so that you can anticipate and verify that your product is still compliant to what are the requirements. So if you are planning to submit now an application to Canada, do it quickly before this new guide is in place, because if this new guide is in place, maybe they will change some rules. So it's why it's important also to understand about that. I didn't saw any date for giving some comments or something, but maybe you can check also about that. Okay, now the podcast nostalgia. So mainly we had 4 podcasts. The first one is episode 323, the good, the bad, and the ugly of certification bodies with Mark Orgovoy. So yeah, it was a great episode if you haven't looked at that. So mainly Mark was providing really some behind the curtain stories about certification bodies, about how we can see some deficiencies sometimes in some certification bodies, how some others are really great also, etc. So it's a good view mainly of what is happening sometimes with some certification bodies. So certification bodies, not notified bodies. So I just really made clear this distinction, because certification body is the one that is providing you maybe some certificate for some standards like ISO 13485 or other standards, but a notified body is mainly for CE marking, for obtaining that. So there are some distinctions. So here we talk about certification body, that people are not saying, oh, why are you talking about notified bodies like that? No, notified bodies are in another league, another category. Okay, next one, episode 324. How and who to build your risk management file with Bijan LI. So mainly here, the question that we ask ourselves when we created this episode is, okay, where should I start? What should I do? Who should I put in my team to create this risk management? Because risk management file is instrumental. If you don't know how to do it, it's really instrumental to everything on your project, because it will define mainly what are the tests that you have to do to reduce some risk, what are the risks existing, how you will verify that the risks are happening or not happening, etc. So you have to do some tests, you have to do some mitigation of risk, you have to redesign maybe to avoid the risk to happen. So mainly this is something that is really important. And here we talk about mainly that. So where to start, how to start, who you should involve, should you involve everybody, or no, you have to have some small teams, etc. So this is a question that I hope will help you, or a podcast that will help you to really build your risk management team more efficiently. Next one, episode 325, the FDA advantages of a breakthrough device program with Michel Lott. So it's also something that is great. I am actually in a project for breakthrough device program. So all what was said with Michel Lott was exactly what we are experiencing now. So mainly it's really an advantage. If you can get through it, it's really great, because FDA is really helping you a lot to move forward within your project. But if I remember what she said, a lot of applications are also rejected by the FDA. Our application was initially rejected, then it was accepted because they came with saying no, it's not a breakthrough, and then we explained to them why it's a breakthrough, and then it was fine for them. But mainly it's also something that is important, that there is a discussion that is open between you and the FDA, so that you can really give your arguments about that. So don't hesitate. If your product is really a breakthrough device and you think it's a breakthrough device, then go to this episode and check also, as I've said, the guidances that are issued by the FDA so that you can build your report on doing that. So, and if you need help, you can ask us also, as I say, Easy Medical Device, because we are having also this kind of exercise done with other customers. So it's something that can be really fine. And you can also contact Michelle Lott. She's already in the US, so she can be maybe more efficient in terms of time zone for helping you also. Episode 326, so how to avoid clinical investigation for a device with ATEM Arabe. This was also a question we asked. Okay, everybody's afraid afraid. It's like a scary thing of clinical investigation. How can I avoid that? How can I not do it? How it costs too much? How can I accelerate my certification? So yeah, you have some cases where you cannot. It's not like it's not me who decides if I can say you cannot. But you have some cases where you can try to leverage some other information to avoid to do that. And this is mainly what we are talking on this podcast episode with Atem. So yeah, it's really great. And Atem is really an expert in clinical aspects, so it can also help you if you have any other question about that. So don't hesitate to review again all those episodes. And if you have any comments, you can also place that on the comments of the episode, and then we can try to look at that and answer to you as soon as we can. Okay. So thank you again for watching this episode. If you have any question or anything, so don't hesitate to send me an email at info@easymedical.com. We are reading your questions and we'll answer to you. And if you have also a need of authorized representative or a service of somebody that helps you in quality and regulatory affairs for medical devices, don't hesitate to contact us. We are really here to help you, and we are really here to make your life more easy, I hope, with all our experience. So don't hesitate to contact us at info@easymedicaldevice.com so that we can help you also. Okay, thank you everyone, and I wish you a nice day.